And welcome back to Janky AF and Year of the Aerostar, episode number 41. Well, I hate to disappoint people today, but this will not be a hot pink Aerostar. I know I'm wearing my hot pink windbreaker here. It is not a hot pink Aerostar, but it was the closest color I could find, so I beg your forgiveness on that and disappointing you on not seeing a hot pink Aerostar. However, what we do have is a very, very wonderful, handsome, dashing, exquisite, refined, tough 1995 Ford Aerostar extended minivan, which of course, as we see, is not extended. You know, I blame this on Facebook. I've said it before. I don't like the auto options they give you to, you know, fit into their little parameters. The is it available button, I think that's a huge enabler of many worthless, useless messenger, you know, marketplace conversations. Despite putting if it's up, it's available, people will still ask if it's available, and it's because they can click a little button. You know, it's not really their fault. Just it's you know, not to get all on a tangent here, but if something presents something that's very easy for you to do, a lot of people will then do it, or they're just not thinking, or it is convenient. So I get it, but I always prefer a real face-to-face, or you know, if it's going to be through Facebook, at least a human being behind the computer, not just hitting buttons. Anyways, I digress. So that's probably why this is listed as an extended minivan. It is, of course, the standard length minivan listed in Newport News, Virginia, for just $3,150. Now, this is sort of a middle-of-the-road price. You know, anything above sort of $2,500, we're getting sort of into, you know, you should expect a little bit from your Aerostar in this category, I would say. 95, good year. Sort of what would have been the last year of production had it not been extended by 2 years, thanks to all the loyal Aerostar fans and enthusiasts out there. And I don't know if any other vehicle has actually been extended past what would have been its lifespan simply because of popular demand. You know, that's definitely a feather in the Aerostar's cap. Last one we looked at was 106,000. This one is 107,000 miles. And by the way, taking a dip a little bit south here from our, you know, we were sort of doing a lot of Midwest stuff, but I do love the town of Newport News, Virginia. Just sort of I don't know that much about it, but I like the name quite a bit, so perhaps I should visit there. And if you are the owner of this vehicle, then, you know, maybe get in touch. But automatic transmission, exterior color burgundy. Now I'm going to say this is almost like a mauve or something like that. Like maybe it's just the sunlight on it, but it does have this like sort of pink purplish quality to it, which is why I wore this. And I'm not sure if it's just sun faded, and it was just like the dark red, but certainly in its present state, a unique color for the Aerostar. Now, they did make, of course, a sort of a dark wine red Aerostar. Not really any, maybe a tiny bit of purple in it, but pretty red, but just darker on the burgundy side of things. And I always sort of wish they had done more of a bright red Aerostar. I think bright red would be a great color, like a fire engine red on an Aerostar would look really, really good. And to my knowledge, they never did it. But certainly this sort of faded reddish purplish looks very nice as well. 15 city, 20 highway, 17 combined. That's probably pretty accurate for this engine. And the big thing about this vehicle, and why I wanted to highlight it, was because it has the 4-liter V6 in it. We just talked about sort of a 3-liter, 4-liter conundrum on last episode. So in all-wheel drive versions of the Aerostar, the 4.0 was standard. That's what you got. However, you could upgrade the rear-wheel drive version to get the 4.0. The 4.0, I would say pretty legendary Ford engine. It appeared obviously in, I think, a lot of different things, but most notably perhaps the Ranger. And my good friend Lester has a 2012 Ranger, or 2011, I think the last year of production of that body style. And really the Ranger, you know, I'm fine with Ford bringing back the Ranger. I actually think they should have switched the names of the Ranger and the Maverick, but that's a whole nother video. But that 4.0, he swears by it. Not a very fuel efficient engine, and 15 and 20 for a combined 17 is really not good. A lot of some Aerostars with a 3-liter, I think you were getting, you know, 22, 24 sometimes. So that is a sacrifice you make to get a little bit more grunt. Probably better for towing, and it's probably a reason why they put it in the all-wheel drive too, to handle the extra weight and things of that nature. So, but kind of remarkable, or for this specification, because it is quite rare that someone would option the bigger engine for a rear-wheel drive. Now, this could be all-wheel drive, we don't know, but it does not say as such, and you would think if they're mentioning that it has the 4.0, they would also mention if it was all-wheel drive, especially because all-wheel drive Aerostars are becoming somewhat of a premium. You know, I should do the percentages, but I don't think there's been too many on this series, Year of the Aerostar. And thank you for watching here on Janky AF. So, description, 1995 Ford Aerostar, only 107,000 miles. Funny, the last one we did was 106,000, allegedly. 3 rows, well-maintained, seats 7 people. And yes, it does seat 7 people. That is accurate. You got 2 in the front, and actually, it could probably fit 8 if you really needed it to, but 7 people, I guess, was what they said. Runs and drives, 3,500 or best offer. Now, you can see it's down to 3,150 right now, so I don't know if that's been lowered or they just wrote a different number in their description than they did in the price. Either way, sounds like it's up for negotiation. Maybe you could, you know, get it down to $3,000 or maybe even slightly less, depending on how willing the seller is to negotiate and how much they're trying to get rid of this vehicle. And I can't for the life of me understand why anyone would want to get rid of a Ford Aerostar, but alas, there needs to be, you know, circumstances in life happen. Not everyone's a devout Aerostar enthusiast, and the only way to acquire Aerostars usually is to buy them off other people, so I am grateful for that. Another cool feature, alloy wheels, factory alloy wheels. Unless these are taken from an Explorer, which may be the case, but I do believe these came on a lot of the Aerostars, and I wonder if that wheel package almost just came with a 4.0, because they might be Explorer wheels. You'll have to tell me in the comments what they are, but certainly feels right on this Aerostar, especially with the bigger engine. The whole package sort of makes sense. I really like this bare bones configuration where it's a standard length. It's this sort of reddish, you know, mauvish color, and then you just have your gray bumpers. Like I'm a big fan of painting the bumpers body color, but here I think it works. It kind of has that industrial look. It kind of has that utilitarian look, that base model look, even though it's got the upgraded engine and wheels. So that's kind of a cool, you know, it's like sort of top of the line in the mechanics department and very basic in the aesthetics department, which I really like. I appreciate that. I think it's a very good looking van. It sits just right. And boy, what a beauty. Now, this is something I appreciate when we get a head-on shot of the Aerostar. I think it is probably the best angle of the Aerostar, at least my favorite. Not really a bad line on it, either way you look at it. But just what a wonderful, wonderful face. And just a very cool car. Of course, we talk about the different grille styles. I think the Aerostar grille is just an underrated piece generally. The way it swoops in, but then these lines are out here. It almost reminds me of the side skirts of like a Ferrari Testarossa or something like that. You know, it is very, very cool. A very, very neat design. And as you can see from our last video, we talked about the logo in the middle. Now it has moved up top, starting in '92, I believe. Just a great looking van. Great looking Aerostar. It does have your... Now, one thing that would really complete the look would it be if you put the towing mirrors on here. This just has your regular sort of plastic passenger mirrors, not your big towing mirrors with the big columns sticking out. They're a little bit wider, a little bit larger. But I do think it helps it remain nice and subtle. We have a profile shot from the other side. Really just looks really clean. You know, it's from Virginia, so you're basically down south. Maybe a mild winter tint here, and I do like these rain guards quite a bit. I think I want to get a set of these for at least my '93 Aerostar. In addition from blocking water while you're moving, I would imagine it helps the vehicle leak less, although most of that leakage is probably coming in from this top of the door line, if we're being honest. Nice little neighborhood here, and you got a nice little Aerostar sitting pretty on the street. Some damage to your rear bumper. Now it is an XLT, that's interesting. I wonder if the XLT package, regardless of all-wheel drive, I wonder if that maybe specified the 4-liter engine. That could be. Again, so much to learn even as I am talking about these Aerostars. You got your spare tire under there. Bottom of the vehicle, not my favorite location for a spare tire. I don't know, maybe that's just the manhole cover. I can't tell. I think it's a tire. I don't know. Some damage to your rear bumper there, and it looks like it has sun faded very nicely, but I just really like these. You could just paint these bumpers primer gray, and I think it'd look good on this Aerostar. We see sort of maybe a little bit of sun fade here on your hatchback compared to your little swoop around metal feature under the taillight there. And looks like maybe definitely probably a DIY window tint as we're getting some bubbling. I do love a DIY window tint, a purple window tint. Just a great looking van. Man, this one's really nice. I'm really quite smitten with this one. I do like how your bumper line sort of curves down here for easier access. Very nice little touch there. I believe the Aerostar had one of the lowest points of entry in its class, which is very, very practical. Another little feather in the Aerostar's cap. Okay. Interior, very nice. I like the red. It's got sort of a little bit of a nice door card sort of pockets here with your red vinyl or leather on them. I don't know if I've seen this often, which looks like they took the center seat material and they almost put it in the door card here as like an extra little feature. Power locks, power windows. So it does have, you know, the XLT model. It's got sort of all the bells and whistles here. Of course, these wonderful two-tone seats with the burgundy piping, and of course I do think the burgundy piping works very well with the exterior of this vehicle. All ties together, all looks very nice and neat. I just love that. You know, I really want an extended length Aerostar, but there's something about these standard lengths where their proportions are really funny. Like it almost looks like, the more I see, the more it looks like just like sort of like a little toy car come to life. And just one of the cutest things out there. But also very capable as well, and I think that's a great combination. Good pictures, you know, very basic. All the, you know, I like that they go around the vehicle. I would have liked to get one or two more of the interior, but certainly we kind of see what we're working with. Actually, headliner looks like it's in pretty decent shape. A little bit of stains on the carpet. That's pretty standard for an Aerostar of this age, because these were used, you know, and in some cases abused, unfortunately. But they were vehicles that, whether you're hauling a bunch of lumber or supplies around, you're probably going to get it dirty, or if you're hauling kids around, you're definitely going to get it dirty. So either way, they were meant for a purpose, many purposes. They served them all well. And then the gravy is just how cool they look now and how they're turning into sort of an instant classic. I think maybe no vehicle has aged better than the Aerostar has. Just really tremendous, and boy, what can I say? Wow, I really like this one. I would love to make this the 95 in my fleet. Of course, I am trying to buy a Aerostar every year. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but we can dream, and, you know, who knows, maybe one day. And speaking of which, I never tell people to do this, although I am more and more often. If you've made it this far, please do subscribe. You know, it's all about the algorithm and blah, 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 but it does help. It's easy, takes no time. You never have to watch another one of my videos again, but we hope you do, here on Year of the Aerostar and Janky AF. And with that, we bid you adieu. Thank you for watching, and until next time, Janky do thanky.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.